God, give me the strength to talk for a little while without coughing. What's up? Hello, everyone. I believe in you. I don't know if I do. I'll take a cough drop. What's up, everyone? Going through a lot of these.
Good afternoon. Last night, I spoke with Donald Trump. I'm sincerely grateful that he's doing well and recovering, and we had a short but good conversation. Jill and I are keeping him and his family in our prayers. We also extend our deepest condolences to the family of the victim who was killed. He was a father. He was protecting his family from the bullets that were being fired, and he lost his life. God love him. We're also praying for the full recovery of those who were injured, and we're grateful to the Secret Service agents and other law enforcement agencies and individuals who risked their lives literally for our nation. As I said last night, there is no—
Fuck off. They didn't risk their lives for the nation. They risked it for Trump. They're a security detail for Trump. Trump's not the sitting president. The nation would be better off if Donald Trump retired from his second term at the presidency, his run for it. They didn't risk their lives for the nation.
No place in America for this kind of violence, or any violence for that matter. An assassination attempt is contrary to everything we stand for as a nation, everything. It's not who we are as a nation. It's not America. And we cannot allow this to happen.
We've had, like, it's pretty America. We have presidential assassination attempts pretty often. It's a big part of our history.
Unity is the most elusive goal of all, but nothing is important than that right now, unity. We'll debate and we'll disagree. That's not going to change, but we're going to not lose sight, in fact, who we are as Americans. Look, Vice President Harris and I were just briefed in the Situation Room by my Homeland Security team, including the Director of the FBI, the Secretary of Homeland Security, the Attorney General, the Director of the Secret Service, my Homeland Security Advisor, the National Security Advisor, and we're going to continue to be briefed. The FBI is leading this investigation, which is still in its early stages. We don't yet have any information about the motive of the shooter. We know who he is. I urge everyone, please, don't make assumptions about his—
Too late. Yeah, this guy didn't seem to have much of a social media presence, which is kind of crazy for a politically partisan, schizo, gun tuber, presidential assassin would be, you know? You'd think they would have found, like, a bunch of stuff to scour by now, but no, it seems he genuinely didn't have much of a— If he didn't have much of a social media presence, my guess is that means 4chan. That means 4chan. You know? Yeah, the phrenology for it, the face shape is right. No way that motherfucker isn't posting with hair like that, you know?
His motives or his affiliations. Let the FBI do their job and their partner agencies do their job. I'm instructed that this investigation be thorough and swift, and the investigators will have every resource they need to get this done. Look, as this investigation continues, here's what we're going to do. First, Mr. Trump, as a former president and nominee of the Republican Party, already receives a heightened level of security. And I've been consistent in my direction to the Secret Service to provide him with every resource, capability, and protective measure necessary to ensure his continued safety. Second, I've directed the head of the Secret Service—
Sorry, is this real? Schoolmate says suspected shooter was bullied almost every day. Jason Kohler, 21, high school classmate of the man suspected. Really?
Yeah, he was bullied almost every day.
In what way? Can you explain?
I mean, he would sit alone at lunch. I mean, he was just an outcast, and you know how kids are nowadays, so they're gonna see someone like that and they're gonna target him because they think it's funny or whatever. So it's the best way I can describe it. And it's honestly
The 4chan narrative is growing stronger by the minute, folks.
sad. Like, I don't want to say this is what provoked it, but you never know.
Yeah. You said he was a loner?
Yeah. I want to say he was a loner more because he was just...
This guy sounds like the bull. Can we not, like, project our high school insecurities that aggressively? Instantly, everyone in chat is like, oh, now I feel bad for him. This guy looks like the bull. Did you see the shooter's face? No shit, he was bullied in high school. Are you fucking kidding me?
He was quiet, but, like, he was just bullied. Like, he was bullied so much. So much.
And this is high school.
Yeah.
I bet this Chad was one of the ones who participated in his bullying.
No. He was just made fun of, I guess, for the way he dressed or his appearance.
No chin having motherfucker. Do you just say shit, man? He had a huge chin. What the fuck are you talking? The shooter had a massive chin. What are you talking about? You're just saying shit.
Like they were just saying jeans. He'd wear hunting outfits sometimes.
Yeah, gun tube.
He would always wear a mask, even after COVID. He wore a mask, like a COVID mask, like even after COVID was over and all that. Yeah, like a.
That's odd. Maybe not a like crazy COVID radicalized type. I saw Posadas John. I don't know if it's real. It's annoying how bullying is just treated as not a real issue. Yeah, it's a real issue. I just don't really know if it's part of the, like, rich social tapestry of this particular conundrum that much. I genuinely, like, this particular individual really does seem like a crazy lone wolf. Turns out the $15 donation was a different guy. Based on what? Based on this one tweet? Shut the fuck up. Have you learned nothing? The fact that the donation was from him has been reported by news outlets. This is one tweet saying, here's another guy named Thomas Crooks, okay? If it gets confirmed, it gets confirmed, all right? Quit jumping at the bit. Can minors make political donations in the U.S.? Yes.
To review all security measures for the Republican National Convention.
Here's the donation record with his address line. Yeah, my understanding is that it not only had the same name, it literally had his fucking mailing address there. You guys, you jump at everything, unless it's a person with the same name in the same house. His dad has the same name and the same address. The same first name. You all are exhausting.
Which is scheduled to start tomorrow. And third, I've directed an independent review of the national security at yesterday's rally to assess exactly what happened. And we'll share the results of that independent review with the American people as well. And finally, I'll be speaking more about this tonight at greater length from the Oval Office. We must unite as one nation. We must unite as one nation to demonstrate who we are. And so may God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, when you spoke to President Trump yesterday, what did you...
Aw, don't cut off the reporter. I want to know what inane, stupid questions they're asking. Come on. Beta. What do the troops have to do with this? Biden always says, God bless the troops. After every speech. Yes, because his son died. Vosh feels bad he was bullied. Also, Vosh, look at his face and hair. He was probably a 4chaner, no wonder. When did I say I felt bad he was bullied? Here, I'll give you a week to go back and look in the VOD and find the point where I said that.
Trump. Our democracy dodged a bullet yesterday.
There's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick.
This is a horrific act of political violence. It ought to be roundly condemned.
First couple of shots, actually, Dave and Mike Kelly looked at each other, and then the next shot, we knew that it was gunfire. and we just fixated on the president.
Everybody in this country, no matter what their political views are, wishes former President Trump a rapid and speedy recovery.
I'm just so grateful that former President Trump is okay.
President Trump knew exactly the risks he was taking running for re-election. He knew he'd be vilified. He probably didn't understand the full extent of lawfare. He realized his life would be at risk. But he did it anyway. And you know why, Jake? Because President Trump loves this country.
Yeah, that's why. Fucking Christ narrative.
I could say I was surprised, but I've been worried about this for a very, very long time. The rhetoric is way too hot, but
all of the insincere whining from Republicans who talk about, like, you are responsible for this if you ever said that Donald Trump is bad, they can go fuck themselves, and worse. I don't give a shit. These motherfuckers are the most aggressive pushers of violent rhetoric in the universe until it happens to them, and then they pretend that they've been, like, pushing for equality and peace and hippy-dippy, like, drum circles the entire time. Remember when Paul Pelosi got attacked? When that far-right lunatic wanted to kill Nancy Pelosi, so he showed up at her house, but her husband was home, not her, so he bludgeoned her elderly husband with a hammer? Universally mocked by the right wing. Literally, like, politicians, pundits, all of them. The nightclub shooting, the one in Colorado afterwards, like, they literally, every time people on the left are killed or almost killed, they're laughing, like, openly. Meanwhile, Donald Trump nearly gets got, and every liberal is like, I personally am so grateful that he survived this terrible tragedy. Fuck off with this. Those people are fine with murder. They want to put you motherfuckers in camps. They want you dead. They only pretend to do the kumbaya shit whenever it's politically convenient to them.
I was just grateful that he made it.
It's not hard to imagine that some of the extreme rhetoric we see contributed to the attempt on President Trump.
Former President Donald Trump.
Forbes deletes article asking whether Trump's surviving assassination attempt will be his next appeal to black voters. Classic. He's just like 50 Cent. You know? They love that shit. Tupac? Well, no, Tupac is dead.
Trump has called on national unity, and he is absolutely right.
Political violence of any kind or shape or form is unacceptable. It is un-American.
I've already announced that Congress will do a full investigation of the tragedy yesterday to determine where there were lapses in security.
Department of Justice, Secret Service, FBI need to be completely transparent so the American people can have comfort that this has been fully investigated and we know exactly what happened here.
All good, Posadas. I've unironically been seeing people posting that 50 Cent comparison, unfortunately. One of the big, like, electoral vulnerabilities of Republicans is that they're so racist that they literally can't stop themselves from being racist, even when it would be incredibly politically expedient to them. When Donald Trump got arrested, his lockup photo, his perp photo, they were like, blacks are gonna love this one because they love, like, thugs in the hood. And this is like a lineup photo, you know? They let, like, half of it is open racists who are just like the opportunity to be racist, and half of it is Republicans who are so tone deaf they actually don't know that it's racist. It's incredible. They can't do it, you know? They're also comically racist against Latin people, but unfortunately half of all Mexicans are neo-Nazis, so it's, you know. Worst part is I'm seeing it from black people. You can see anything from anything. There are tens of millions of people in this country. I don't know how they could, Senage. Apparently the Hodge twins dropshipping sold 2 million t-shirts overnight of this photo from yesterday. Yeah, they're pretty smart on the uptake. They're pretty good. The gunman at Trump's rally pointed a rifle at an officer who found him on a rooftop shortly before he opened fire. One local police officer climbed to the roof and encountered Crooks, who pointed his rifle at the officer. The officer retreated down the ladder, and Crooks quickly took a shot at Trump. Maybe this police officer is an ally. He saw him lining the rifle up on Trump, and he was like, "Okay, didn't see anything here." We respect it. Quick reminder of how Trump responded to Paul Pelosi being attacked.
And we'll stand up to crazy Nancy Pelosi, who ruined San Francisco. How's her husband doing, by the way? Anybody know?
This is after her elderly husband was nearly bludgeoned to death with a hammer by a lunatic far-right would-be killer.
And she's against building a wall at our border, even though she has a wall around her house, which obviously didn't do a very good job.
Guys, they're super tired of the divisive rhetoric. They're super, super tired of it. You know? You know who's really promoting the murder of politicians? Jimmy Kimmel. That's the guy who's really doing it. It's important we treat this with the same respect as we did the Paul Pelosi attack and ask the important question, was the shooter Trump's spurned gay lover? That's true! Trump does like him young. He better not go to cell block 1. Yeah, that's true. God damn, man. Unironically, Destiny has started spitting. It's not, the only, like, things of note that I'm deriving from this is, one, his audience must have shifted remarkably. He doesn't have the same audience now that he used to. Does anyone remember, back before I started streaming, Destiny was arguing that DACA immigrants in America had a moral right, potentially, to enact violence against Republican voters because the voters were voting for candidates that wanted to deport the DACA immigrants. Like, and now his audience, like, the people on Twitter, it's like 3,000 replies, 3,000 likes, like, no support when he's being blasé about the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. What happened to the audience, man? I don't give a shit if he says anything based, because it's all just like kayfabe entertainment. It's like watching a professional wrestler who plays the villain, and then there's a season turn and he plays the hero. And you don't, like, actually get morally invested, you know. It's just like the next season's activities. It's not motivated by any internal yeah, vibes-based reasoning. Did you see this was the shooter? Do you mean this was the person who was shot? This one? Based on what evidence? Room is completely engulfed in flames. You can only save one. AOC, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Putin. Putin, 100%. This guy? This is guy, this their GoFundMe. Nuts, you want to run that one again and try maybe like typing like an adult a little bit? Support on this and Allison after tragic loss? I don't know what this is. You're just linking shit. My head isn't too much of a fog for you to waste my time. I did a slight typo. Why am I being bullied? Because I'm fighting for my life right now. You need to make this easy for me, okay? That's presumably the wife of the dude who died. How do I know? Yeah, for this to happen right before the RNC, too. Crazy. Yes, Soupy. God. I just want to be able to talk, man. Couldn't he have done it at the RNC? Really the dumbest shooter? Except, Benjamin, right now it is you, in fact, who is being the retard. How the fuck do you think you're getting a gun into the RNC? Are you kidding me? No one knows how the real world works anymore. Everyone just says shit. Everyone wants to be like the one who gets the attention in chat. So people just say shit. They just say, like, here's some speculation I saw off Twitter. Here's an article linked by Roger Stone. You know, people just love being the ones to say things. Pay attention to me. I have to type something and I can't contribute anything meaningful. So I'm just going to say shit. No one knows how I suffer. I don't care, Lillian Blahaj. My anti-doomer position is not contingent on my emotional state. It's a logical position. Oh, things are getting harder. I'm finding it harder not to doom. This is, you're attempting to make a logical argument for like self-harm. You're like, oh yeah, I know I shouldn't self-harm when I'm sad, but now that I'm really sad, logically it's getting hard not to self-harm. The argument's the same, man. There's no threshold at which it's a good argument. There's no level of negativity where it's like, I should now adopt an unproductive mindset. Self-harm of the soul, exactly. Damn, Vosh is still sick, unlucky. Yeah, because I can never fucking rest. Every time I leave, something happens. What's the current discourse?
Protect the president. It was like the whole first row line, not a single person moved. And I don't think many people left that area until we were actually escorted out by the Secret Service. So it was kind of a strange situation.
Yeah, I mean, the way that you were able to recall it in such vivid detail is amazing. Why don't you think you were worried for your own safety?
Well, this was my 6th rally, the 3rd time I'd been a volunteer. Last time I was in the 4th row.
I love all of these people being given a platform on the presumption of them being like an apolitical witness, when in order for you to attend 6 Trump rallies, you have to be like a Hitlerite. Like, you're not, there's no, and this goes for all of them too, you know, horrific victims of the shooting aside or whatever. It's not like this, it's not a random fucking crowd of people, okay? Like, these are all people who will enthusiastically endorse government policies that will put you guys in camps.
I was determined to go up. So I kind of knew what was going on. I'm not new, but, you know, I had seen how they normally operate. When the sharpshooters got up on the roof, I knew that the motorcade was on its way, because they're not up there very much, not longer than 15 or 20 minutes before he arrives. So all, you know, the people around me know, I say, oh, he's coming, because the sharpshooters are in.
When did anyone claim being apolitical? Because they're just being brought in as witnesses to describe. Imagine if there was a Klan rally and an altercation took place and a person who was a member of the Klan was brought on the news to just describe what happened. Wouldn't that be weird? It's like, you're not just a witness, you're a part of the political bloc. Like, the attitude towards you should be negative. Like, you're not just an incidental witness. But you got to make money.
Now, they're not normally there that much. Oh, no, the
Trump supporter equals Klan member. Yes, thank you for taking the analogy that I delicately wove and implied and stating it outright. You know, and it looks even better typed out in white font. Thank you.
Did put his hand up, and it, you know, we all saw it. And then he started saying the words "fight, fight, fight." So I think all of us were very relieved that he was alive and well enough to walk. He walked down those steps, and really they pushed him. I don't think he wanted to leave that stage. They really pushed him down those steps. They were kind of pushing him. And so, from my viewpoint there in front of him, I could not see what was happening to the left on the elevated step until I saw that gentleman with the
blood.
what
I haven't seen?
Because what I hear is people just carry the people out or try to help them, but I didn't hear like sirens. I didn't see any ambulance or any medical people over there. I just really didn't see that. It was kind of, you know, but there was a lot of people, but it just, you couldn't see everything. I saw Trump. That's all I was interested in. I guess when you asked me why.
Does anybody have a video of Trump's speech that includes him speaking before the shooting?
I wasn't afraid. I thought whatever happened, he was the target.
Aaron,
and really, it was the 4 pops and nothing after that. So it wasn't like, you know, you'd hear a whole bunch of gunfire. You didn't. It was pop, 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 pop. That's what it sounded like. It came out of my left ear. I could hear it to the left. Well, I guess there was a muzzle on the gun, which made that popping sound. And, you know, 4th of July was only, I'm looking at my calendar, a week ago. So we had heard a lot of that a week ago, and I'm thinking, oh, must be a neighbor that had leftover fireworks, is having a party, and boom, they're just celebrating.
Aaron, what did it mean to you when he said fight, fight, fight?
Sorry. Thank you for the video. We'll look at that in a sec.
I think it assured everybody that he was still strong. Because when he was down like that, I mean, I didn't know if he was ever going to get up. Nor did I think any of those photographers were going to get up either. Wow. It was for all of them. I mean, they were in such a still
position. Nazi witness account after Kristallnacht, yeah.
And it seemed like he held him down for a long time. They didn't just escort him fast off that stage. And I guess they waited till those guys come with the guns and cleared the area before they would lift him up. So I think that was reassuring. Yeah, the fight, fight, fight. I guess it's, I don't know if it's a battle cry. I just took it as like a big sigh of relief.
You know, I gotta say, not to overstate the case here, but fight, fight, fight with your fist extended after you've survived an assassination attempt is a pretty aggressive response to an assassination attempt. It's not like, I'm okay, or we're gonna do this or anything. It sounds pretty directly like they just tried to kill me, we're gonna fight back. Like, that to me seems like the most obvious interpretation.
Okay, he's bleeding, but I thought maybe it was just I thought maybe it was a nick on the ear. And I didn't know where the blood came right here, but I guess it must have been running down. But the picture that people were showing, he's closer to the steps, and there's definitely a lot more blood than when they first lifted him up. He did not have that much blood on his ear or his face when I first saw him.
Aaron, thank you very much for joining us. The way that
Fuck you.
93 front.
We got 6 minutes of a speech until it goes wacky.
This is a big crowd. This is a big, big, beautiful crowd. I wish the fake news back there would show it. I wish they'd spin their cameras and show it, because nobody would believe it. You know, the other day, Biden was saying, I got big crowds, meaning him. He gets big crowds. He doesn't know what a big... And there were like 93 people there. 93, you know what that is? That's where the front row Joes sit, right here, 93. We got more than 93 front row Joes. Hello, Butler, and hello to Pennsylvania. I'm thrilled to be back.
God, he's got so much more energy than Biden.
Thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots, and that's what you are, and we got to bring our country back to health. Because our country is going to hell, if you haven't noticed. Millions and millions of people are pouring in from prisons and from mental institutions. We're going to stop it. We're going to get it stopped. We're going to bring them back. As he said, we're going to bring them back. We're going to deport. With the help of everyone here tonight, we're going to win Pennsylvania this November. We're going to defeat crooked Joe Biden.
I can't believe how aggressively Democrats have pushed violent rhetoric. By the way, the shot taken at him happened several minutes after he called for putting millions of people in camps and deporting them.
Laughing Kamala Harris. And we're going to take back the White House, and we're going to take back our country. We're going to take it back. Our country's been stolen from us. You see
Well,
that?
I know I've said this a million times before, but it never stops being true. This is Hitlerite rhetoric. This is like, you know, revanchist fascism, you know, palingenetic, like our country used to be great, but it's now in a fallen state because of minorities and degeneracy, and we're going to bring it back through a great, like, reawakening of violence. It's like textbook Hitlerite shit.
That it's the greatest, one of the greatest crimes is what they've done over 4 years and hiding what the obvious facts are, isn't it, huh? Isn't it a shame? You run for the President of the United States from a basement. All very dishonest stuff, but you know, we're going to have the greatest election. I tell you what, we did fantastically in 2016. We did much better in 2020. You know, we did much better. And it was rigged. It was a rigged deal, but we did much better. But it's nothing compared to the enthusiasm all over, not just in Pennsylvania, all over. There's nothing compared to the enthusiasm that we've seen over the last year. Because, I mean, a year, think of it, year and a half ago it started. It really started from immediately after the election, you want to know the truth. But a year and a half ago, we were seeing crowds of people desperate to have rallies, desperate to have anything to take back our country. And we're going to take it back. Next week, the Republican Party will hold its convention in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And 5 days from now, we will officially accept the Republican nomination for President of the United States. Right? And we're going to get a good senator. I'll tell you, you have a real stiff right now in office. He's a stiff. You know, your current senator, I never met him. I don't think I've ever met him. I was only there 4 years, but I don't think I ever met him. I'll tell you, that's your senator. He votes with Biden or whoever happens to be furthest left. We got to get him elected. McCormick. We got to get McCormick, press McCormick. He's a good man, too. He's a valiant fighter. He's a great, great gentleman. So we're going to bring him up for Can we bring him up for a couple of minutes later, a little bit later? All right. You get ready, McCormick. You get ready. I'll get you up here. The world will see a vibrant Republican Party that is bigger, stronger, more confident, and more united than ever before. And that's what we are. We're the most united party. Now, I'm watching the fake news go crazy because they're saying The Republican Party has not been united since Ronald Reagan like it is right now. It was united under Ronald Reagan the second time. It was very united. And they said there's never been anything like it. They've never seen a movement like this. Make America great again. You know, Joe Biden talks about we have to stop MAGA. MAGA means make America great again, Joe. It means make America great again. That's all we want to do. If he was doing the job, I wouldn't even be doing this. I'd be at some beautiful place with a gorgeous ocean, the Mediterranean.
An island, perhaps?
Atlantic, maybe the Pacific. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Trump. This is also like a big fascist narrative. It's never enough to believe that your strongman leader is just like a competent politician who's in the right place at the right time. They have to be a savior. That's necessary to the narrative. They can't just be a bureaucrat or an effective politician or just like a regular guy who's doing their best and is doing a good job, but is altogether sort of motivated by their own sets of interests. They have to be messianic, you know? Thank you, Trump.
Instead, I'm here with you fighting like hell to get a senator elected and to make sure we take back the White House, because if we do, we're going to make America better than ever before. We're going to make it, and it's not easy because we have millions and millions of people in our country that shouldn't be here. Dangerous.
Like literally.
People. Criminals. We have criminals. We have drug dealers. We have people that should not be here. And it's much tougher than if it happened. You know, we had the strongest border ever.
What he's talking about doing, what the GOP is talking about doing, the mass deportation of all undocumented immigrants, it would be one of the largest ethnic cleansings. And let's not pretend that it's not that, by the way. There are plenty of Latin Americans who are here legally, but this isn't about immigration status. It's about Mexicans or Latin Americans or whatever. There's a reason why all of the undocumented immigrant rhetoric is entirely centered around MS-13, the cartels, the gangs, the southern border. It's not about immigration status. We know for a fact that it's about Latin people. Let's not be stupid here. Let's not pretend. It would be one of the largest ethnic cleansings in human history. I mean, we're talking like 16 million people. I don't think it's doable, but it's insane to push for.
Recorded history with the best border. In fact, if they could ever put up a chart, I don't know if they can do it. Do you guys have access to that chart that I love so much? You don't mind if I go off teleprompter, do you? Because these teleprompters are so damn boring, I try and explain that. Oh, there's it. Wow. You guys are doing it. They're getting better with time. My guys, take a look at that chart. Take a look at the arrow on the bottom. See the big...
So you don't think they're actually going to do it? I don't think they would be able to accomplish all of it. You might note that the Holocaust also didn't get finished. That's not me saying, oh, no big deal, guys. They couldn't do all of that. You can do a lot of damage in an attempt to do something that can't be completed.
Red arrow, right? So that's when I left office. That was the lowest point, and that comes right from the government services, comes right out of Border Patrol. Take a look at that. So that arrow is the lowest amount of illegal immigration ever in recorded history into our country. And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
And we all know what happened from there. There it is. He was literally pointing at the "this is how many people we have to deport" chart as he got shot. That's crazy. Yeah, in the middle of a speech about ethnic cleansing. Pointing at the chart, literally saying this saved his life? Yeah, maybe. Did you see the photo that caught the bullet? Yeah, it's been reported on by the New York Times now. You know, the New York Times would never report anything dishonest. The one that caught the bullet. Pretty crazy, right? That must be after it clipped his ear? Yeah, probably. Is that actually legit, though? Yes. It's the New York Times. Modern cameras can catch a bullet. I mean, good ones. That's like catching a lightning bolt in a picture, which is also something you can do, yes. Mr. Mills was using a Sony digital camera capable of capturing images up to 30 frames a second. He took these photos with a shutter speed of 1/8,000th of a second. Oh, that could easily catch a bullet. I mean, there it is. So in 1/8,000th of a second, the bullet traveled this far, more or less. Not actually a bullet, but a sort of contrail. Don't just repeat stuff that you see on Twitter. That's not a contrail. A vapor trail is condensation formed in human air by a supersonic bullet. No, that's a bullet. Just incorrect. Just saying stuff. We're just saying stuff. With all respect to you, Vosh, Ryan knows this better than you. I taught Ryan everything that he knows. All right? God, I wish I could talk normally.
Now, than ever.
Shut up, man.
At what have we seen in previous investigations that we need to re-up, to reinvestigate, to see is there any indication out there of someone else wanting to try something similar in the coming days and weeks and months.
Stop recommending me my videos.
Reportable information from a former senior Secret Service source familiar with the Trump rally site and the protocols surrounding it. The roof where the shooter was located was, according to this source, a well-known high-priority vulnerability for the Secret Service. It was known from prior protection at rallies at the site and identified the day before during a walkthrough. If they knew about it, how could there have been a lapse?
Again, this is what an after-action investigation or multiple investigations is going to be looking at. One thing I think is important to understand is that there's a whole unseen component to security for these events within the Secret Service and now also within the FBI and some state and local law enforcement called protective intelligence investigations. So there are investigations not only of what can be done at the site to prevent harm from occurring, but looking investigatively at who might want to be doing doing that harm? Who is talking in online forums? Who has been sharing information, posting things on social media about some intent? One of the things that I think will come out of the investigation about the attacker here is that we will find out eventually that he was sharing some ideas and plans with someone. We just don't know who at this point.
Maybe. I wonder if he was like a total loner, you know? Wouldn't it be crazy if in this era of information, of social media, we never get any intel on the motive? Like a true lone wolf? Huh. That'd be crazy.
Vaughn Hilliard. So Vaughn, oh, you're actually within the briefing right
Secret
there.
Service
So what
briefing?
are we expecting?
Yeah, Katie, this is supposed to start here any moment now. This is going to be notably the U.S. Secret Service's first time speaking publicly, not in the form of a statement or on social media, about the events that took place. About midnight last night, local law enforcement in Pennsylvania held a press conference that the Secret Service was not a part of. We are told that a Secret Service official will be here on hand for this press conference with the Milwaukee Police Department, among other law enforcement agencies, to talk about the Republican National Convention security. Of course, Donald Trump now en route here to Milwaukee, but more than 2,000 delegates here as well. Of course, there is a perimeter being built out. The governor here, Tony Evers, called for an expanded perimeter to bar, in this open carry state, to bar fire.
One of my emails, man. I watched the last stream about Trump getting shot. I thought your unhinged tangent about how the Trump shooter is ugly and incel and so on during the last stream was pretty gross. Wanted you to know this. Every single commentary on the troubled state of men in society is made with the primary necessity to make yourself look like I thought it was pretty funny. The point wasn't about it being funny. The point was about, like, there are a bunch of demographic signifiers that point to the idea of this guy being a crazy loner. And then an interview with a classmate comes out, turns out he was bullied all the time. It's just true. Just not bullshitting people.
Into this, of course, about what transpired yesterday and why Donald Trump, his family, and others attending this convention should have faith in the U.S. Secret Service's security perimeter here around this site. Of course, there are still outstanding questions as to why the gunman was able to get on top of that roof.
You did use the word chronology a lot. I use it a lot all the time.
Local law enforcement, was there any drawdown of staff? There's a lot of outstanding questions for the U.S. Secret Service. Of course, the director of the U.S. Secret Service has already been called to testify here later this month in front of the U.S. House. And so there are serious questions. We'll see whether they are able to engage on any of those questions or whether the focus will be here solely on the following days of the convention as Donald Trump, just about 24 hours after the attempted assassination, makes his way here to downtown Milwaukee. Katie?
We always pay attention when the Secret Service gives a news conference. They rarely
I wasn't
do.
talking about you.
Vaughn Hilliard, Vaughn, thank you very much. Again, we'll go there once it begins. Joining me now, former special assistant to President Biden and former White House.
Kicked off the high school rifle club. He was asked not to come back because of how bad a shot he was. This is fake. This is fake. There's no way. There's no way. That can't be real. No way. That's too funny to be real.
Team go about the presidential race now with this having happened.
They need to tone down. They also need to take ownership and tone down some of the rhetoric. I think that they need to be cognizant of what is going on in the world here and in our country with politics. Also, you know, they just moved the trip to to Texas. They're just postponing it. They're actually still going to Nevada tomorrow. He's still doing his interview. So it's just one stop that was an official stop that they are no longer doing, that they're postponing. So I think they just are recalibrating their message to move forward. Look, it's going into the RNC. The RNC is going to take up most of the oxygen with the media. As we move forward, hopefully President Trump will be announcing his VP candidate soon so we can get back into the normal things. But I don't think we can underscore the importance of what happened yesterday and that the political violence just isn't acceptable in our democracy.
There's also, Charlie, been a call to tone down the rhetoric, to maybe not use violent imagery while campaigning.
I can't, dude. Fucking Democrat boomers kill me, man. Classmate said Crooks was a bad shot. With an AR-15, you don't really need to be a good shot, right? I can't stand this shit, man. I can't look at discourse. I can't do it. I'm not strong enough.
From his first, just based on the things that he said about it.
Well, that's the kind of criticism that you have in a democratic process. And this is what democracy looks like. I mean, there needs to be that vigorous debate, the criticism, the warnings about the threats to democracy. You don't need to have Hitler imagery, but we don't know that that had any connection to what happened yesterday. I would say this, though, that we need to understand how volatile the situation is, how dangerous it is. And one of the ways to respond, of course, is to be as honest and truthful and forthright as you can, without crossing a line to the incendiary. And, we'd be remiss if we didn't point out the number of times that Donald Trump and many of his supporters have done that. So if there's going to be a cooling of the temperature, I think we're going to have to hear from some of the figures who have done the most to actually applaud violence, to tolerate violence, and to use the most violent imagery about their opponents.
Charlie, do you see this as a turning point, one way or another, in this country?
It certainly did feel that way. Look, I mean, I remember the assassination of John F. Kennedy. I remember, the shootings of Gerald Ford and Ronald Reagan. And yet this feels like it's potentially more dangerous. And I think one of the things to watch for at the convention is how do they respond? Is this going to be a moment of lowering the temperature, of unity, of, in fact, stepping back into a more sober political world? Or is it going to accelerate the kind of rhetoric of vengeance, of finger pointing? And we've gotten some ominous signals over the last 24 hours. I mean, I suppose there was a time in American history where a shocking act of violence like this would shock us into sobriety.
Hey, Charlie, I'm going to interrupt you. I'm so sorry,
we're not
but
in that
the
timeline.
Secret Service news conference has begun. I want to dive into it.
Together to design security plans for national special security events. They are designed to be adaptable based on the changing security landscape and most up-to-date intelligence from our partners. We've been working on the RNC security plan for more than a year and have been in constant coordination with our partners and the Republican National Committee. During our extensive planning efforts, we have accounted for various security scenarios that may arise, and we are confident in the plan we have implemented for the Republican National Convention this week. That security plan will...
Can I get better audio, please? Why does the PBS broadcast not have it yet? I'll wait a second for the PBS broadcast if it means getting to actually listen to it and not having like the double echo hum, ultra audio fuckaroni situation they've got going on at NBC. Though it is weird that they don't have anyone up here yet. Oh. 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 Huh? Huh? Okay. Crazy that they still have that graphic when nobody uses analog TVs anymore. The entire broadcast network is digital now. As of what, 2008? Why is this listing an NBC feed? This is PBS, man. It's still used for digital screens? Yeah, but not for the same reasons, right? Still good for calibration, I guess. This sounds better. Yeah, but now I'm kind of curious what's going on with PBS. It's just a color test pattern. Well, it's not just a color test pattern, because when you're using an analog signal, the color that you see is a product of the electrical signal that gets fed into the coils that get directed against the phosphors and the thing. Like, it provided more information with an analog TV than it does with a digital setup. Now it just shows you if your color settings are correct, which isn't as useful.
To pass it over to the chief of the Milwaukee Police Department, Chief Jeffrey Norman.
Okay.
They are designed to be adaptable based on the changing security landscape and
That's
most
a little
up-to-date
better.
intelligence from our partners. We've been working on the RNC security plan for more than a year and have been in constant coordination with our partners and the Republican National Committee. During our extensive planning efforts, we have accounted for various security scenarios that may arise, and we are confident in the plan we have implemented for the Republican National Convention this week. That security plan will remain in place. While we cannot discuss the specifics, means, and methods used for our protective operations, our protective methodology for NSSEs is based on a layered approach that includes support from federal, state, and local law enforcement and public safety partners. We will continue to assess the security environment and adapt our security measures as appropriate. The Secret Service is working diligently with the Milwaukee Police Department, as well as all of our federal, state, and local partners to ensure a safe and secure convention for attendees, volunteers, and the City of Milwaukee. I'll now introduce the Mayor of the City of Milwaukee, Mayor Cavalier Johnson.
Thank you. Several months ago, folks in this room may recall that I worked with a bipartisan group of individuals, both Republicans and Democrats, with one goal in mind, to make sure we have a safe convention for everybody. These national special security events, especially as they relate to the Republican National Convention and the Democratic National Convention, have been stuck at $50 million since 2004. Obviously, things cost a little more than what they did in 2004. And so via phone, via trips to Washington, D.C., and working with members of Congress on both sides of the aisle, we were able to get a $25 million increase to our security grant. I say all that to say that we take this matter very, very seriously. We take public safety very, very seriously. And I've been so pleased to work in collaboration, not just with the United States Secret Service, but also with local law enforcement and public safety on the ground here. As was mentioned, we're joined by the chief of the Milwaukee Fire Department, Aaron Lipsky, who's been a great partner. And we're also joined by the chief of Milwaukee Police Department, Jeffrey Norman, who's been a great partner as well, working to bring in law enforcement officers from not just across the state of Wisconsin, but across the United States to help out with public safety here. Let me just reiterate what was already said. This is an NSSE, a National Special Security Event. It is the highest designation that you can get for a security event of its size and magnitude in the United States. We have that designation, and we'll continue to work to make sure that public safety is tantamount here in this community. With that in mind, I'll take the opportunity to pass it over to the Chief of the Milwaukee Police Department, Chief Jeffrey Norman.
Thank you, Mayor Johnson. 18 months that these plans have been put into place in regards to what we're going to have for this event. This is a collaboration between federal, state, local.
You get the feeling they don't have anything to say because the God's honest truth is this came out of nowhere. There's no conspiracy. It was one guy, and he climbed to a rooftop like 400 feet away real quick. Like, there's not much to talk about here, really. There's not much intrigue to engage with, but everyone wants there to be.
The CEO of the Milwaukee Police Department, this local police department here, I'm very comfortable in regards to the plans that we have made together. Not in silos, not where we're just kind of going over peruse, actual planning together. As you can see in regards to my fire side, also from the county side in regards to the type of collaboration. The collaboration is real. As the mayor said, this is a national special security event. Can't get any higher than that in regards to that particular type of designation. And so I just want to reassure not only our community, the greater community, those involved at the convention, but also in our city. We got this. We got this. Thank you.
All right, with that, we're going to move into a brief Q&A. Please just place a hand up. We'll call on you. Please wait your turn. One question.
All right. Over and under on how fucking unhinged the questions are going to be. I don't envy the Secret Service guys because you have nothing to say, but the whole world is watching. So you have to go up there and be like, we're going to be reevaluating the priority of the strategy of the synergy that we utilize to assess the situation and circumstances of, like, you're filibustering. What the fuck else do you have to say, you know?
Follow up, name your name and outlet beforehand. and we'll get through as many as we can before we have to head out here, okay? So we're gonna start right here, down on the left, black t-shirt.
Shimo Brokvest from the CNN Secret Service. I don't understand why it is
Come on.
you had one of the most significant events in the Secret Service's history occurred yesterday, and no one from the Secret Service has publicly decided to take questions about what happened. You had the FBI today openly giving us an on-the-record briefing about their investigation, but yet we still have not heard from anyone from the Secret Service about what happened, about what the agency knew, about the lead-up into the event concerning security. And I just don't understand how anyone would think that that's okay.
So my role in the Secret Service is the RNC coordinator, so that is my purview. Any questions regarding yesterday's event can be directed to our Public Affairs Office out of DC.
Right, I understand that this is the first time that anyone from the Secret Service has publicly even spoken to the media since this happened. There was a press conference last night that the Secret Service was not at. All the state officials, the FBI was there, but yet the Secret Service has been absent. As a result, and he just raises all sorts of questions about why the Secret Service is not willing to answer questions.
So again, I'm the Secret Service's RNC coordinator, so I can speak to the RNC security planning. I'd refer any questions regarding yesterday's incident to our DC Public Affairs Office.
Thank you. Right here at the blue shirt.
Yes, ma'am. Mark Meredith of Fox News. I'm curious, obviously you don't want to talk about what happened in Pennsylvania. Have you had to change your security posture at all here? And if so, how? Is it a small percent change? Is it looking at over everything once again? And then the follow-up question would be, just in terms of resources, I know you mentioned 18 months has been going into this. Do you feel like you've had all the resources you needed to get to this point today, or do you feel like the work will also be done?
So as Mayor Johnson and Chief mentioned, this is a national special security event. That designation is the highest level of security designation.
Wow, this is boring as shit. You guys want to hear a story? You know, I've been held up by the Secret Service before. Some of you guys know this story. Some of you guys know it. I was visiting my friends in Baltimore a while ago, like a decade ago. We decided to visit DC. We took the train up, and I was like 20. I was walking around with my friend at the Capitol. Yeah, at the Capitol. You know, it's the first time I'd been in DC. As somebody who up until that point had only been in Los Angeles, it's pretty crazy because the architecture, city layout, what have you, of DC is incomparable to LA. Totally different world. Also, near the Capitol in DC, you can tell the entire like section of the city is built like a fortress. Like there are tank traps and barricades. You can tell everything in Los Angeles is built out of like stucco and wood, you know, like earthquakes are all they have to worry about over there. But you can tell in DC every once in a while you walk by something and you're like, oh, that's like the bunker the guys pour out of if anything bad happens. It's the Capitol, you know? So I was walking around with my friend and I was talking about this and I was like, oh God, like look at that over there. That's like 100% like a tank barricade, right? That concrete wall is like 6 feet thick, you know, like what, like there's no reason for it to be like that except for like literal fortifications. And after a while, my friends and I walking around, we realized we're being followed by the most laughably, stereotypically federal agent looking motherfucker in the world. He's undercover. He's wearing a suit with a tie clip and shades. He's 6'6", this big bald guy with like a lantern jaw. And I turn to my friend and I'm like, is that Secret, like, that's not real, right? That's just like a guy walking around. Or maybe that is Secret Service, but he's just walking around. Like, he's not following us. You know, we're walking down big, highly populated sidewalks here. Like, there's no reason to believe he's following us. We turn a corner, 2 cars pull up, we get detained. Apparently loudly talking about anything cool in DC. It's illegal to talk about the cool stuff at DC. You can't be like, oh, over there, that looks like a you know, fortification, because they'll think you're like a Xi Jinping's greatest soldier sent over here to do reconnaissance. They held us up for an hour. Each of us got our own detective Secret Service agent guy. My guy was this like steely-eyed, I did war crimes in Baghdad looking motherfucker who had I'm not, he had a submachine gun with a strap around his neck and like reflective vest that like construction workers wear over body armor. They gave you the bad cop. I got the bad cop. Okay, he was like, because I could hear the other guy, the one who was following us, the 6'6" guy talking to my friends. They separated us. I got the bad cop. My two friends got the one good cop. I wonder why. I could hear the other guy. This guy's a laugh riot. He's like 40 maybe. He's older for the Secret Service. He's over there with my friends. You know, he's like telling jokes and stuff. I have like the serious like fucking, you know, NSA looking guy. And he's asking me all the questions they have to ask. He's asking like, you know, what are your intentions visiting the city, blah, blah, blah. Now, keep in mind, of course, I'm familiar with my rights. You know, the whole am I being detained shtick. But for one, I was kind of entranced by the novelty of the situation. And for two, I understood logically that having committed literally no crime, this was probably just like bored Secret Service agents doing like they have to fill their day somehow, I guess. And I didn't really want to be belligerent because I don't really know what the margins are on belligerency when it comes to cops versus Secret Service. You know, you can be kind of belligerent with a regular cop and get away with, you have to like know the ins and outs, but you can be like varying levels of belligerent. With the Secret Service, I don't know, because I never talked to them before. So, you know, I'm playing along, I'm answering the questions, I'm just here with my friends. No, I don't have any weapons on me. But when he asked that question, because I'm gunned up here because the other Secret Service agent is being jokey with my friends. So I'm thinking, okay, there's a rapport here. Maybe this guy's a tough nut to crack. I bet I can get him to smile. He's like, do you have any weapons? And I'm like, no, but took wrestling in high school. You could say my whole body's a weapon. I'm like, Not even the slightest movement on the sides of this guy's mouth, but he did put his hand in the butt of his submachine gun stock. So, you know, weak sauce. Look, okay, it's so fucked up. It's so fucked up. He didn't even smile. Probably heard it a million times. Pardon me for not being familiar with the intricacies of the social dynamics of interacting with the Secret Service agents detaining you. He didn't laugh. Okay, I would have chuckled. Thank you. Anyway, it didn't work out. But after about an hour of getting asked questions, there was a third detective present the entire time who wasn't asking questions directly, but was leaning against one of the cars that had stopped at the corner and was occasionally like cracking jokes to his colleagues, but not talking to us. After a point, one of the agents was like, all right, we're done here. Would you like to come in with us and we can ask additional questions at the station? And the third detective, the guy who hadn't been talking, said, don't say yes. You don't have to say yes. Don't give us paperwork. You're fine. You can go. Just say no. So my friends and I were like, no, we don't want to. And they were like, okay. And then they left us alone. So shout out to the bureaucracy disliking, you know. It was good. Yeah, he wanted some ice cream, you know? And I respect that. Should have said yes just to be spiteful. That would have been the real, like, belligerency. I would have been like, yes, I do want to come in. I might have secrets and just waste that guy's day. That would have been fun. It probably wouldn't have been fun. You could have gotten a cool tour. That's true. You would have been killed. I could be wrong, but my guess is that you're probably safer with the Secret Service than you are with the cops, because the Secret Service are extensively trained and have a lot of eyes on them, and they're also a much smaller organization. Whereas with the cops, there are sheriffs in the middle of bumfuck Nowheresville that can just disappear your ass with basically no oversight, varying levels of training. Also, people become cops to be racist. I don't think people become Secret Service agents to be racist. Maybe a lot of them do. I feel like with the Secret Service, there's probably like a wider range of motivations to lead to that point. Whereas with the cop, it's just because they're racist, you know. That would be my guess. Well, sure, somniostatic, but that's like all police, right? So, yeah, the Secret Service probably has a higher bar for competency. That would be my guess. Secret Service agents must score in the 90th percentile or higher on the Secret Service rifle course to get admitted into SRU Basic. Huh. Interesting. Got a lot of qualifications. (21 to 37) upon receipt of conditional offer, valid driver's license, uncorrected visual acuity no worse than 2100 binocular, possess corrected visual acuity of 20/20 or better in each eye, pass a hearing exam, have no visible body markings, no tattoos, exception, a single conservative and unobtrusive tattoo in the form of a ring, e.g. wedding band, is authorized on one finger. That's cute. You get to have one tattoo and it's the tattooed ring. What? Sometimes people in certain professions will get a tattooed ring because a ring is a liability in their work, either because they're like a soldier or a cop, or it could get degloved, like they're like a lumberjack or something. It could get in the way, so they get it tattooed, so they always have it. Surgeons do it often. That makes sense. Yeah, surgeons. Be in excellent physical health, top secret clearance, of course. Sign a mobility agreement. Registered with the Selective Service. Carrying as a firearm. Bachelor's, at least 1 year of graduate level education. Huh, okay. Well, my tramp stamp rules me out. Yeah, sorry. Does that mean 1 year of a master's? Yeah, to apply to the GL 07 or GL 09 level, yeah. Is there anything like this for police? Yeah, for police, they give you the fit the square peg in the square hole test, and if you get all 4 shapes correct, they can't hire you. You have to fuck up at least one. I don't even think that's wrong. That's in the ballpark of being correct, man. Have you ever talked to a cop? They're not playing with a full deck. Anyway, let's finish this.
That the federal government can determine. So we are confident in the security plans that are in place for this event, and we're ready to go.
Vosh, my U.S. Army vet buddy, got rejected from local police during an interview because he got asked if we would report a superior breaking the law, and he reflexively answered, I would report them, then got rejected. Nice! Yeah, that sounds about right, considering the police are a gang.
It's been an 18-month process.
I believe it.
We've worked together over that 18 months to develop operational security plans for any and all aspects of security related to this event.
But did it change within the last, has any change been made in the last 24 hours?
We're not anticipating any changes to our operational security plans for this event.
Right here in the front in the orange dress.
Mary Speaker said at the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers told us a little bit ago that he is calling the Secret Service to ban firearms, guns in the soft perimeter, not just in the nicer form. Is that something that the Secret Service is considering or is doing?
I have not had any conversations regarding that, so I can't speak to that.
Okay. You said that you requested the Secret Service. Do you know if that request was actually made at this point?
I have not had any conversations regarding that, so I can't speak to that.
Right up here in the front, tie suit.
Is the Secret Service currently anticipating or currently planning to expand the perimeter?
We're not anticipating any changes to our current security footprint or plan.
Including allowing firearms into the soft perimeter as it is right now?
Anything in the soft perimeter.
Jesus Christ, this really is useless. Oh yeah, the PBS. But did you actually eventually get to the briefing? Okay, I guess you did. God, I really want to be able to talk, man. Yeah, it is him. News outlets are confirming his name was Corey Comparator, and here he was saying he was going to the rally. This is the guy who got killed? This is what I mean about the perceived neutrality of just casually interviewing people who are at the Trump rally. And it's like, oh, yeah, the guy who died, the person who was killed at the rally, the innocent bystander, Hitlerite. If viewed through a historical lens, this guy would be, it would be like, oh, at like a Nazi rally, this guy got killed in like a fight that broke out. You know, I don't think people would be shedding tears over that. Insane. The DEI plant. Who's worse, KJP or Jen Psaki? I wonder if this guy was slightly racist, you know? A Putin supporter too, and nothing of value was lost. Yeah, literally. Fucking traitor to the American people. Just say the N-word. Literally, just say the N-word, dog. You're not fooling anyone with DEI. This guy was a cultist. His entire life is just being pro-Trump. Oh yeah, here's the Putin one. Yeah, fucking... The room is engulfed in flames. You can only save AOC, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, or Vladimir Putin. Putin, 100%, you know? Like, great, man. What do you notice about this milk? It's real unpasteurized milk, and that's what we drink in my house, straight from the farm. This guy's a fucking lunatic! Are you still boycotting Bud Light? I never drank it, so no. Oh, okay. The principled answer, I guess. Literally, like, his entire life online is just glucking the GOP. Mike Johnson might as well be a Democrat? This guy's insane! Holy shit! A fucking hyper Hitler. Man invites company over to trick wife into cleaning the house. That is a great idea. Cereal is too expensive. I'm not necessarily going over this to, like, mock his death. I just think it's important to never be tricked by the media into thinking of any hardcore Trump supporter as, like, a neutral or innocent... Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're bringing the people at the rally on CNN to say, like, oh, yeah, it was scary, there were gunshots. They're talking to Hitler Jr. over there. Like I said earlier, if there was a fucking Klan rally and a fight broke out and someone died, the media probably wouldn't be like, hey, hello, Klan attendant, would you like to uncritically share your perspective on the, you know, and the Klan attendant is like, I just thank God that all the other people got out safe. And the CNN anchor is like, I agree. Thank God all the Klan members got out safe. And it's, fuck you. I'm not buying this shit. What if Biden gets assassinated now? Well, then congratulations, folks. We get the Kamala Harris candidacy. He was retweeting RFK Jr. Was he supporting him over Trump? No, he's still a Trump supporter. He's just insane. He really does not like Speaker Johnson, I'll say that much. You see these global warming activists standing on ice with nooses around their necks. What do? Go bowling? Go ice kicking. I mean skating, yeah, skating. Joking about killing climate change activists, albeit ones with a very stupid setup. Looks very stupid, not denying this. Not even a well set up joke? No. Well, he's like a boomer, you know. Trump poses many threats to our country, from Joe Biden. We're not stupid people. Stop talking to us as if we are. They're all literal demons, aren't they? Not every Republican is as crazy as this guy, but if you're showing up to Trump rallies in person, yeah, you're pretty fucking demonic. Yeah, 100%. The majority of Republicans are latently bigoted, confused, and stupid. The kinds of people who will, like, follow Trump on tour, like they're following a band they love, they're pretty demonic. Just prolonged boomer posting. I don't know if there's anything else here that's especially interesting. I bet he likes Fetterman now. Where are these Palestinians going to live when the war is over? They'll get over it. The Japanese did. What did he mean by this? Oh, all the way back in October of last year, he was in favor of Mike Johnson. Probably turned against him as soon as Marjorie Taylor Greene did. I did see a post for him where he was on January 6th. He was saying that Mike Pence needs to be held to account or something like that. Whose Twitter is this? The Trump supporter who died in place of Trump at the rally from the shooter. Grimly scrolling through. Stop funding Ukraine, of course. I trust no man that plays tennis. What? Okay. Whatever. Hold up, he's cooking. I feel bad for people like this. I know they're supporting evil, but they're just so stupid. Yeah. I don't think it's really possible or even necessarily ethical to do, but getting the social media accounts of a bunch of people who are present at the rally and just going like, wow, they're all Hitler, you know, would be an interesting exercise, if nothing else. Yeah, they are responsible for their actions. It would get boring fast. Unless cultivated, yes, it wouldn't be like a live stream thing. I suffer for you all. You know this, right? Very Christ-like. Thank you. Thank you, Vosh. Thank you, Vosh. Thank you, Vosh. I agree completely. Sorry about the prolonged quiet. I'm trying to avoid coughing if possible. That would be nice. Biden is scheduled to address the nation at 5 p.m. PT, 2 hours 40. I'm not going to be here at that time. It's so fucking annoying, man. Kind of gross the people in chat implying he deserved to die and such. The guy was an idiot sucked into propaganda, not necessarily a knowingly malicious actor. Spit spat, you're getting into like the foundational question of like personal responsibility and determinism. That guy would probably support policies that would put you in a camp. You know? Like, at the end of the day, nobody's evil because they have the evil gene. Like, no one's waking up with like the demonic spark in the brain that makes them like innately bad. Everyone is a construction of their environmental influences, modified, you know, influenced by genetic factors. It's complicated. You never know what's genetic and what's environmental either, you know? You don't know. You know, the Luftwaffe bombing London, the Wehrmacht marching east, both of them, any individual pilot or soldier, you know, they're not born with the evil gene. They're just fucking German guys. They get roped into things, but what are they doing now? They're killing you, right? I think that the path forward for this country is one ultimately of peace and reconciliation. That being said, when, you know, the country is full of Hitlers who would see us all dead, I'm not gonna be baited by the mainstream media into pretending that this is like a, you know, like this is like a moment of unifying tragedy. No political lessons to be learned from this. All grievances set aside. I do not set aside the grievances. You know why? Because they're not. You think every Trump supporter right now is going like, in the wake of this violence, I will no longer support any of the entire policy program of the Republican Party. I have now changed my mind on everything. I am now fully in favor of reconciliation. I don't believe in pushing any of this. Probably not. They still want you gone, man. They haven't forgotten, and I'm not going to either. I'd rather have empathy than not at the end of the day, even for evil people. When did I say don't have empathy? You think, like, you can have empathy for anyone. You should have empathy for everyone. Empathy is the bedrock of sociological analysis. You have to empathize with the worst people to understand where they're coming from. And if you can't understand where they're coming from, how do you stop more people from being like them? The ability to empathize with one of those Wehrmacht soldiers is how you arrive at the positions that help you understand how you prevent people from being like that. Because if you just throw your arms up in the air and you go, oh, they're like that because they're evil, well, what do you learn from that? Nothing. It's a shorthand. You call everyone a monster. If they do something bad, you never learn why they became that monster. You're kind of cheating yourself out of useful analysis. You should empathize with that dipshit who got shot at the rally. You should empathize with Donald Trump. Why is Trump so desperate for applause? Motherfucker had like an abusive, distant, wealthy father who never gave him praise. You know? He's like a classic psychology case. Give the man a therapist 50 years ago, he wouldn't be the way he is today. It's daddy issue shit, you know? You have to have empathy for the worst people, but that doesn't mean, you know, having empathy for the Wehrmacht soldier doesn't mean, you know, you're not defending yourself on the Eastern Front. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, quit pointing at Hertzberg. I am a product of my influences. Many people are going to use this incident as an attempt to downplay the harm Republicans represent. The Republicans are and I'm not saying this rhetorically, apocalyptic threat because of climate change. They are a monstrous threat to the well-being of billions of people. Their platform is one of almost universal suffering. Basically, nobody benefits in the long run from their positions. It's a very easy cut and dry answer, morally speaking. Just because someone clipped Trump's ear, that doesn't change any of that. I don't want to buy into this dipshit centrist narrative that this is somehow like a moment of peace and reconciliation. You want peace and reconciliation? Sure, they can make a shot at it. They can take a crack at it. Paul Pelosi got bludgeoned with a hammer. None of them gave a shit about stochastic terrorism. Republicans only remember what stochastic terrorism is when they're the ones who are suffering from it. You know? I'm telling you, man, he's going to show up at the RNC and it's going to be just as bad as ever. Don't forget that. Cry-bully behavior from the right. Nazis are good at two things in particular, projection and cry-bullying, which is why they said the Jews are the ones who cry out in pain as they strike you. In reality, literally every single bit of Nazi propaganda is predicated on dog whistling and the presumption of victimhood. If you look at Nazi posters on Twitter, of which there are many, they will never ever say, we want power so we can conquer. We want power so we can be done. They never say it, even though that's what they want. And you know that they know that's what they want because they admit it privately. In public, they'll always say, you know, we're under attack. We need to fight back. It's always the presumption of victimhood. They're always the aggrieved ones, always on the defensive, even as they push for laws that would hurt you when they're not under threat. Always with the euphemism, always with the cloaking intention. And then you look at them privately, they're all giggling. Hee hee, we're so clever. I agree, Alec Gunther. They don't seem like very happy people. I'm going to respect myself here. If I am able to, I'm going to stream later tonight. We can watch Biden's address. Until then, if I talk for too long, I'm just going to get into a big coughing fit. And that'll set me back. I know. There it is. I'm going to send you over to Hasanabi, since he's covering news. I'll be back on later if I can. I'll read donations then, too. Love you.